Shalom, shalom to all of you Hebrews and those of you that call on the Most High for your health and for your strength. I want to say to you all, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to a teaching on this beautiful feast day the Most High has made. That's right, this is September the 20th. September the 20th, which is actually the first day of the 7th month for the Hebrews. That's right. It's not the 20th for the Hebrews. That's for the Gentiles. It's the 20th because they go off the Gregorian calendar. But for the Hebrews and those of us that know truth, we know today is the first day of the 7th month according to Scripture. And we follow Scripture here. And my job as a Kohen is to teach Scripture, not my opinion, just the facts through Scripture. And I want to welcome you all to this teaching. My name is Ranford Flemings. My spiritual name is Zerubbabel Israel. That's right, Zerubbabel Israel. And I was called for this day. And I'm coming to you today because I want to go over some teachings that's important that you understand that were here historically. But because Satan has intervened while we were asleep, while the children of Israel were asleep, Satan got in and changed some things and made some things incomplete. And so I'm here to correct Satan's wrongs. And he's done that by changing truth. As Israel, our job is to stand on truth, not our opinion, not on what people think. Our job is to stand on Scripture. When the Most High created this earth and he chose his people, he gave us a calendar. The calendar was based off the moon and, of course, the sun. You know, the sun reflects its light off of the moon. The Most High tells us in Scripture he gave us the moon for appointed times, and we're going to go over that. But the first thing I want to do, I want to kill the myth. I want to kill the myth that the Jews today are saying that today is the first day of the new year for the Hebrews. That is not true. They call it Rosh Hashanah. It's not true. That's not in Scripture. I want everyone who's listening to me today to know that it is nowhere in Scripture that says that this day is the first day of the year for the Hebrews. And that's what they're saying and telling the world to this day. I just want you to know that Revelations 2:9 tells you who the people of Israel are today. And they're not going to give you the correct information. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to show that to you. I'm going to show you Scripture, not my opinion. I'm not here to give you my opinion. I'm here to teach truth. So let's get started. Okay. The Most High gave us from the beginning, his people, what they call a menorah. It's a seven candlestick menorah that represents the feast days. The Hebrew feast days are based off of harvest. You have the spring harvest, which represents these three right here: Passover, unleavened bread, and first fruit. Then you have the second harvest, which absolutely represents the trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and tabernacles. And then you have this day right here, which is the day of Pentecost. Because why? This all tells you a story. And I want you all to understand this is a story. And in order for you to understand what's going on today, you must look at the Father's story, the one that he gave us from the very beginning. So, from the beginning, he gave us Passover, which represents Yeshua. Right here, Passover. That's when Yeshua got on the scene. He was our Passover lamb. That's who represents the Passover lamb. Is who? Yahushua. Then we have unleavened bread. Unleavened bread represents when he died. There's a 7-day period that when he died, it represents unleavened. Because why? Yeshua wasn't available to rise. He's the leaven, so to speak, that's in bread. He represents the leaven. So when he died, there was no leaven. That's why we call it unleavened bread, because Yeshua wasn't available. He hadn't rose yet. So we consider that time unleavened bread, and that's why we have a ceremony that's a 7-day feast right after Passover. It works in conjunction with one another. Right here. This is a story, y'all. This is a love story. I want you to understand this. So you have Passover, then you have unleavened bread, which represents the death of Yeshua, that he stayed in the grave, this unleavened bread during this period. And on the 7th day, which was the 3rd day, that he was in the ground 3 days, came up on the 3rd, which is the 7th day, he rose. The first day he was seen was what? Yom Rishon, which was a Sunday, which is called first fruit. This year was first fruit. It was Yom Rishon, day 1. And I want you to see this. So the first 3 feasts of the year for the Hebrews, you have Passover. And remember, Passover starts off the year for the Hebrews. Because don't forget, each of the 7 these feast days represents, this is a whole year. There's only 7 feast days a year the Most High gave us from the very beginning. And I'm showing you what those feast days were. And those feast days are based on his life, his son's life. And this is the Passover, which was the beginning of the year. It's always happened during the time of Abib. Abib is when in Israel is when the ripening of the barley gets to a certain color, like a greenish color. It's called Abib. And that's where Abib, and it's the time of Abib, and it's the springtime. It's the spring harvest. We call it the spring harvest because it's when Yeshua the Lamb got on the scene. And it's the spring harvest. So you have Yeshua, who is the Lamb, who's the first fruit, of course, who was on Passover when he died. Then you have unleavened bread, which is a ceremony. We have a 7-day feast, 7 days, representing the unleavened bread. Then during that same time, he rises on the 3rd day, on the 3rd day, which was the Passover, which would be a Saturday. He rose. And then the first time he was seen was on that Sunday, which was Yom Rishon, which represents first fruits. I want you to see, and I'm going to show you these all in Scripture. Then, after he rose, he had first fruits. He was the first fruit that ever was created. That's why the Father says he had what? The children of Israel was one of his firstborn, and he had Yeshua, because Yeshua represents the Spirit. The Spirit that he gave what? On Pentecost. Right there. Bam. This is when he made available to us the Ruach HaKodesh. Right there. We're going to go through all these feast days. I'm going to show you these in Scripture. It's very important you understand this. This is when he made the Ruach HaKodesh. And the Ruach HaKodesh is what you call in English the set-apart spirit. And that's what's available to us now. That's what's teaching you right now. That's what's talking to you right now. It's the Ruach HaKodesh, the set-apart spirit that's in me, speaking to you, that's teaching you. It's called the Ruach HaKodesh. And it was given and made available to us at when? The time of Pentecost, right here. That's why it's in the center. It represents all mankind, right here. Bam. The day of Pentecost, because that's when it became available to us to receive the set-apart spirit. That's our teacher today. That's what's going to wake us up and teach us and guide us today. And it was made available during Pentecost. Then you have the second harvest of the year, which starts where we are today. We're at Trumpets, right here. Trumpets. That's where we are now. This is the 4th holiday of the year. I'm sorry, the 5th holiday of the year. And it's the trumpets, or Yom Teruah. Remember, Yom means day. Teruah means the blowing of is like a blowing of the trumpet. It's like the blowing. It represents the blowing, the actual blowing of the trumpet. Yom Teruah. Day of what? Blowing. And it represents the day of trumpets. Why? It's the day that we're supposed to get up and rejoice. Get ready for what? The harvest. Get ready for the spring, for the fall harvest, when he comes and takes us back. This right here represents the trumpets, where we sound the alarm. We get ready. We let all those around us know he's about to come get us, y'all. He's about to come take us home. And that's why the first day of the 6th month was August 21st, the day of the eclipse. That's right. It was a new moon. August 21st, the day of the eclipse. We all seen it. That's right. 40 days from August 21st was actual The 40 days of Jonah, the sign of prophet Jonah he said he would give us, that's when it started. August 21st, the day of the eclipse. You take 40 days from the eclipse, it's going to take you to this day right here, the Day of Atonement. And that's 10 days from the days of the Feast of Trumpets. Today is the Feast of Trumpets. Today is the first day of the 7th month. The first day of the 7th month. Today. 10 days from today, you have the Day of Atonement. Right here. Which also ends what? The 40-day warning. The sign the Most High said he would give us here on earth today, which will be the sign of Jonah. It ends on what? The Day of Atonement, which is 10 days from the Feast of Trumpets. We have 10 days. We have 10 days to atone. And then we have the last, which is 15 days from this day right here. We have Tabernacles, which is the gathering together of the church, which is a feast of booths. Some of you call it Sukkot. And what happens during that time is when we sit out in booths and we harvest all the spring and the fall, or all the different fruits, all the different things we've grown that year. The harvest itself is when we bring it in, gather together. And this right here is the Tabernacles. It's going to be, it starts October the 3rd and 4th, and it's going to last until the October the 11th. October the 11th is the last feast day. It's the last day of the Hebrew holidays. Let me tell this to you before I start teaching. After this day, this year, this feast of the Hebrews, it represents the days of darkness. We enter into the days of darkness. Okay, with that being said, let me take you here now. I want to take you over and show you in Scripture, Hebrews, we always go off the moon. And when it shows here, I want to make this abundantly clear before we start this teaching. Before I go through Scripture, I want to show this to you. Show you in the Scripture. Because tonight, new moon, it came in last night on the 19th, September the 19th. Today is September the 20th. So it came in last night, right after 6 o'clock, we start at sunset. We start our day off at sunset each day. We go from evening to evening, all according to Scripture. Now, last night, the new moon, which was, that's what we said, the September the 19th, 20th. That's where you see that, September 19th, 20th. Tonight, it will be a new moon, all black. Now, the Most High tells us in Scripture, right here, he tells us why he made this moon. He made it for us, the children of Israel. And he made it for appointed times. He makes it very clear. And he tells us that right here, where Psalms 104:19. He made the moon for appointed times. The sun knows it's going down. As I said before, the sun reflects its light off of the moon. The moon does not give off light itself. Please keep that in mind. The moon does not give off light itself. It reflects the light off of the sun. So they work hand in hand. And the Most High said, I gave you, the children of Israel, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give the children of Israel, what? The moon. Why? For appointed, right here, appointed times. And he tells us right here, there's no way that we can get this wrong, y'all. He's showing us and he's telling us right in Scripture. Where do you find it? Psalms 104:19. Now watch this. In Hebrew, in Israel, we always use a shofar. That's why I put a shofar right here. This is a shofar. This is a ram's horn. You call it a ram horn. A ram's horn. It's actually what it is. It's a ram's horn. A hollowed out ram's horn. And what's powerful about this tool, this is a tool of the Father that he gave the children of Israel. Because we use it every month to bring in each month. In our camps, someone who was appointed by the head priest of the camp would every single month bring in the new month. That's how we knew what time of day it was, through the blowing of the shofar or the ram's horn. That's why in Scripture it tells you that. Where does it tell you that? Psalms 83:3 and 4. Psalms 81, 3 and 4. Let me slow down, I'm sorry. Psalms 81:3 and 4. It tells you what? Number 3, blow the ram's horn at the time of the what? The new moon. Right there, bam. There's no second guessing. There's no debate. Anyone tells you differently, either they show you in scripture or tell them to take a seat. I'm telling you right now, as a Hebrew, as a true Ivrit, as a true child Yehudian, as a true child of the Most High, your job is to follow scripture. We're not here to follow our opinion or no one else's. Our job is to follow scripture. And what I'm asking you is that if someone tells you anything different than what I'm teaching you and what I'm showing you according to scripture, I'm telling you to ask them, show me what you're saying in scripture, because